We are answering a very important question in this series. We are deep into it, and maybe we've started just winding it up. The question we're answering is, do we have control over what our purpose can be? Do we have control on what our purpose can be? That is the question that we're answering. The answer, of course, we're already leaning towards the fact that yes, we do have some kind of semblance of control. And in this series right now, what we're dealing with at the moment, we're dealing with the idea of what I think that your purpose is not fate, and you are not a victim of fate. I'm discussing and telling you that you are not a victim of fate for several reasons. As in, your purpose is not superimposed on you, and you basically have no choice over it, and so on and so forth. I'll tell you this, even if the designer of your life designed you to live in a particular way and wanted you to live in a particular way and fulfill a particular purpose, you have a choice to live otherwise. And you're not going to be shot dead for it. It's just that you will not feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So let us look at one reason as to why I believe that you're not a victim of fate today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Life Signatures episodes are brought to you by africanbooks.com, which is an online ebook platform that seeks to broadcast the African Christian voice to the world. As such, they have become a hub for African content, connecting African writers and publishers with a global reading audience. Publishing your books on their site is free and easy, with authors having full control over their content and the price they choose to sell at it. I was personally blown away by the concept that africanbooks.com is coming up with. Things like no content from their site or their app is going to be run on laptops so that people can easily copy. In other words, your content as a writer is restricted from digital multiplication or digital copying. So you remain intact with your information. And the other concept that I got so blown away with was the fact that in some time to come, in due course, africanbooks.com will be starting to announce African Writer of the Year. In other words, there will be competitions in all African countries to figure out who is the best published author. And I also fell in love with the fact that countries can actually compete against each other. We can have African authors going at it after each other, and your book as an author will be reviewed and have some stars and recommended upon that particular platform. The thing is that it's an answer to Amazon.com. With Amazon, what happens? You've got to have an account in the Americas or whatever, or in Europe before you can get paid as an author. But here, the local currency is in play and the local means of getting paid are in play. So to get started, go to africanbooks.com as an author or as a publisher, and even as a reader if you wanted to read your African favorite authors. Enjoy. So I want to reiterate something here that I've just said earlier on, that if a microphone has been designed by the designer, one of the distinguishing factors between the microphone and the human being is because the microphone cannot talk back. The microphone cannot make a decision. The microphone has no choice. It's an inanimate object. But you, my friend, you have a choice. You can actually make a choice. The way you are wired, at times you'll think that the choices you're making are either rebellious or they're aligning to what the designer decided to do. But for the most part, you've already been, set up, so to speak. You are not a victim of fate. You are intended. You are planned, right? I know sometimes some parents normally say, "Oh, we did not plan this one. We were using protection," and they just sneaked in. Listen, you are planned by the designer. There's no human being who makes it alive on this side of the earth. They come into the earth, they are born, and the designer or the creator has no plan for them, no desire for them, no intention for them. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I do believe that you are not a victim of fate, whichever way you want to look at it. The first reason as to why I believe you are not a victim of fate, we discussed that yesterday, is you are predestined. What is predestination? It is the same thing I'm telling you. If I am building a phone, I predestine it to do particular things. A predestination is basically an intention that the creator has over something. It's what a designer has over something. So you and I have been predestined. We did not evolve from some dust and we're just finding ourselves here trying to survive. Beyond survival, beyond making it, putting food on the table and paying bills, we have been predestined. The problem is that we spend the rest of our lives trying to fend for ourselves and not looking at the intention that the designer has for us. But the question will be, someone will be asking, how would I know? How would I know the capacities that the designer has put inside of me? How would I know I've been predestined? Well, you don't need to travel so far. Miles Monroe says that God hid your purpose where he knows you'll never miss it, and that is within you. So number two, the reason as to why I believe that you are not a victim of fate. Number two is you are pre-qualified. That's the same thing I'm talking about. You are pre-qualified. When I predestine you, I pre-qualify you at the same time. I cannot predestine the microphone without pre-qualifying it. What's pre-qualification? It is before something is released to function, it is equipped specifically to function in that way. That's the pre-qualification I'm talking about. You don't need to sit for an examination to fulfill your purpose. You don't need to pass and have a degree to fulfill your purpose. You might need to have a degree in your purpose, right? But you don't need to do an examination, a diploma or whatever, certificate and so on and so forth, so that you can be able to do your purpose. Your purpose, you've already been pre-qualified for it. My mentor, Mike Murdoch, normally says he doesn't just qualify. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. You've already been called, you've already been pre-qualified. You don't need to do nothing to qualify for your purpose. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to have some kind of haircut, some kind of walking style. You don't need to belong to some kind of group to be able to fulfill your purpose. You don't need to fit in some kind of group, some kind of club, some kind of boy gang. You don't need to fit in some kind of sorority to fulfill your purpose. You've already been pre-qualified. Every time you're being excluded by people from their own clubs and their own sororities and their own little cliques, it's not a nail on your coffin that you not fulfill your purpose. It doesn't take away anything about your being pre-qualified. You already been pre-qualified. Even if human beings reject you, even if your friends reject you, even if you're jilted, it doesn't remove the pre-qualification from your life. A qualified person is one who is deemed fit fit for the bill for a particular task. The task we're talking about here today is your purpose. You are fit for your purpose because of the potential. I'm going ahead of myself. Because of the potential that has been placed inside of you. Normally, we find those who are qualified through an exercise called interviews. An interviewing panel sits down and selects the kind of, and I've already derived how this happened, because when my father was sitting for his examinations, and maybe the years just before him, the guys who were already sitting for examinations were already qualified. They were already being given jobs. In fact, I'm told big corporations like oil and gas companies and insurance companies and banks and so on, and even the government, they will be hanging around campuses just to nick the guys who've been sitting for the examinations, even before the examination results come out. And so when we notice that everyone is doing that, everyone is excelling in life through education, what did we do? We pumped everyone through the education system. Everyone went in there. What happened? The curve and the curve of the supply and demand, the supply and demand curve, which means we had a lot of supply of people who are educated with degrees, and a less where we can be able to place them. And then we needed to have interviews so that we can vet the very many thousands of people. If you call for a job, make people to apply for jobs, and you get thousands upon thousands when their positions are just 2. But if you're good enough in this world, and I'm not talking about purpose yet, but if you're good enough in this world, you are always chosen, headhunted. Now, let me tell you this. In a nutshell, in a way, you were headhunted before you were born for your purpose. There is no one who can do it like you do. You were headhunted, pre-qualified for your purpose even before you were born. So interviews are not needed for you to fulfill your purpose, given that you are predestined. That's what we talked about yesterday. You are predestined for the particular purpose in life. It means that you are already pre-qualified for it. You do not need to go through the interview normally. You are already qualified. When it comes to your purpose, you are the one who is interviewing. You are the one who is interviewing this world. The world wants you to do very many things, but you're interviewing, does this fit into my purpose? Does this fit into my values? Does this fit into the desire that I have in my heart? Does this serve my passion? Does this give me fulfillment? Does it give me meaning? Is this what matters to me? That's the power that we do have, and yet the problem is we normally pass on that power. It's the other way around. We're the ones being interviewed. I think it's a beautiful thing when we interview the world for the things that we want to do. Like that student who is so good, in athletics, and there are very many colleges that want to give him scholarship, and he has to interview them. That's the way it is with your purpose. When it comes to your purpose, you're the one doing the interview. You go through the process of questioning and searching until you find it is what you are pre-qualified for. So, as you can see, it puts you squarely in the driver's seat of your life. You are not a victim of fate. You are the one making the decisions about your purpose. Listen, the pre-qualification is there. We talked about the predestination yesterday. It is already there. But the one who is making the decisions on what your life is going to look like, it is you. It is you who is going to make the decision that this one fits the bill. This one is what I'm carved out for. This is what I've been sculpted for. This is what I've been called to do. This is what feeds my passion. This is what feeds my dreams. This is what feeds my desires. And this is what is going to give me fulfillment. You are doing the interview. You are doing the selection. Not the other way around. And that's why I tell you, when it comes to your purpose in life, you have already been predestined. Yesterday we talked about it, but you already have been pre-qualified for it. you qualify for it. And tomorrow we're going to go deeper into that and just explain why and how it is that you are pre-qualified for doing your purpose. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.